Hi, this is Assemblyman Nicholas Chiaravalloti from the 31st Legislative District. I represent Bayonne and Jersey City up in Hudson County, and I appreciate you joining us. Today, we're going to have a quick conversation with two experts in the field on the PPP program, which is the Paycheck Protection Program administered by the Small Business Administration. The reason we are doing this tonight is because my office has received multiple phone calls from small business owners about the what, the how, and the when, and those are going to be the three questions we do try to answer for you fairly quickly. So we're joined by two individuals, two longtime friends, and we promise to stay focused on PPP so we don't bore you to death. But we have Mike Affuso, who is the Executive Vice President and Director of Government Relations for the New Jersey Bankers Association. Mike, thanks for joining us.
Glad to be here.
And we have Carlos Medina, President and CEO of the Statewide Hispanic Chamber of Commerce of New Jersey. Those of you who are not familiar with chambers of commerce, they are valuable resources to our local businesses. The Hispanic Chamber is one that has grown under Carlos's leadership. And Carlos, welcome.
Thank you, Assemblyman. Pleasure to be here.
So look, we had a little bit of good news this week in that we have more vaccines coming. We see that the governor has adjusted the indoor dining limitations, which is a good thing. We're happy about that, especially as we head into Super Bowl weekend. But, I want to really focus on PPP. And Carlos, I'm going to start with you. At the Statewide Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, how have those diverse business owners been impacted by COVID? And also during this first round of PPP, how do you think that's impacted their success in surviving the pandemic?
Yeah, it's been a struggle, Assemblyman, but I could tell you that I would argue Hispanic businesses are battle tested and kind of always are going through many hurdles. So believe it or not, they may have fared a little better than Main Street USA because of that built-in resilience that they already enjoy. But it's been tough going. The PPP, we probably helped about 300 members apply for round one. And that was thanks in part to the EDA who had some funding for us. A lot of lessons learned. Having your financial records in order has been part of the hand-holding that we've had to do as a chamber. We've had to produce financial records and recreate financial records and team them with attorneys and CPAs. But as you said, a chamber of commerce, that's what we're here to do. So I encourage everybody, talk to your local chamber, talk to the assemblyman if you want to connect with our chamber. But chambers are a lifeline for these business communities that just don't have the luxury of having lawyers on staff and accountants and CPAs. So small businesses struggled, but it's a strong program and it helped a lot of businesses here in New Jersey.
Well, I think one of the things I'd love to try to, sort of make a lemonade out of lemons is we have so many of our local businesses, especially our businesses which are owned by people of color, who actually don't form business entities and miss out on so many state and federal programs. Yeah. And one of the things that I would suggest to individuals who are operating their own business, reach out to us, okay? Because organizing as a business in the state of New Jersey has its benefits, as Carlos just said. I'd like to turn to you, Mike, because we really do want to talk about the Paycheck Protection Program. So what is it? This is the second round, but what are we talking about here, and why should small businesses be focused on participating?
Sure, and thank you, Assemblyman, for putting this together. The people of Jersey City and Bayonne are very lucky to have you. You're a great leader in Trenton, a great advocate. But the Paycheck Protection Program essentially is a way for small businesses to access money through the SBA, and it will be given to the business as a loan. However, the loan is a forgivable loan. If a portion, and in the past it was 70%, but in the future it will be 60%, of that money is used for payroll and payroll related items. So essentially you could have a business that would tally up their payroll, and there's some regulations around this, but you would essentially take the tally of your payroll, and you would be entitled to 8 weeks of your payroll, plus an additional 40% more money, and that would be a completely forgivable loan. So it's really a great deal for small businesses. It's a great deal for many businesses. So if you've accessed it before, you may access it again. If you have not, and Carlos raises a very important issue about the organization of the business, and the business has to be organized as a business. You might struggle if you're not organized that way, but I would really encourage people to go and speak to their banks where they do their banking and apply. In the past, during the past program, New Jersey, if you look at a per capita basis nationwide, New Jersey received more than 20% of its fair share because we were really pushing businesses, small chambers, the big state chamber, Carlos's chamber, the African American chamber were really out there on the street. And if you really think about it, it's a great thing to bring back 120% of money from Washington.
Doesn't happen often for New Jersey.
It does not happen often for New Jersey.
They give more than we receive.
Exactly. It certainly is a lift, but it's well worth it. And I would absolutely encourage all of your businesses to apply.
And I think there are a couple of points there that are important, right? Because if you are a business owner, you know how valuable your staff is, right? You've already invested in these individuals. So it's not, so this is about really keeping as many of your trained employees under contract, right? And this now benefits you, but it also benefits them because the ripple effect of the shutdown caused by the health emergency pandemic, we see it impacting individuals, not only in their take-home pay, not only in their jobs, but their children's education, healthcare, housing insecurity, food insecurity. All these numbers are heading in the wrong direction. So this is an exciting program, and I'm actually, it's one of the few programs that I think goes to the heart of what's needed, which is keeping people employed and working for their employer. Carlos, you talked about the amount of services you were able to provide your members. When you look at the portfolio or the profile of who has taken advantage of it, can you talk to us a little bit about what the sweet spot is? Because I think some people look at this and say, oh, well, I only have 5 employees, I only have 25 employees, this is really for the big guy. But it's really not. It's designed for when we say small business, it's defined fairly large by the government.
Yeah, that's a good point, Assemblyman. I would say the pretty wide swath of numbers. I think our lowest loan was about 5,000, but we had members get 1.5 million. So it's very intriguing. Solo attorneys we had that didn't exactly draw salary, but we were able to figure out, there's a cap, you earn 100,000 in a year. So that attorney was able to get 20,000. So that's 8,000 a month, roughly, times 2.5 months of salary. So a lot of solopreneurs got 20,000, which is a real lift for somebody that's taking a hit. And like you said, you're getting your payroll paid. That enables you to maybe put offers. If you're a restaurant, you could lower prices temporarily. You could afford to pay people to make deliveries because it's free money. I hate to say that word, but this is a loan you are not repaying if you're able to fill out the paperwork properly and spend the money in a mandated way. You are not paying that back. So you're getting payroll covered for you. So you certainly could make some business decisions, invest in outdoor seating if you're a restaurant, invest in protection for your clients, but also, have a temporary business model that reduces pricing because your labor is getting covered for you. So it's a time to pivot and be creative as a business person.
Yeah, basically what you have to show is that you have about a 25% reduction in revenue, right? So, I mean, and if you're a business owner out there, that you've lost more than 25% of your revenue. Very few of us have been able to sustain what we did pre-pandemic. Mike, just, people want information. We try to give them information when we do these videos, although we try not to do these videos too often because as I've been told, I have a face for radio. Give me the how, right? If I've watched this video, I'm interested. What should I do? Where should I go first?
Sure.
If you could just outline for us.
The first thing you need to do, and I just want to echo what Carlos said before, the average loan in New Jersey was about $110,000. And for low dollar loans on the forgiveness side, there is a very low regulatory burden. So all you need to do is fill out minimum paperwork and you will get forgiven. So, just as an opening. So here's what you need to do. If you are a business, you need to go to the bank in which you do business. You can't just go to any bank. Some banks are taking new applicants. However, the burden of performance for you of what you're going to need to do to go to a new bank and the amount of documentation you're going to need to produce is going to be pretty difficult. So number one, go to the bank that you bank at. If that bank for some reason cannot help you, I will commit to any of your constituents that through your good offices, I will indeed help, and I will find an institution that will help you. There are also fintechs that are online solutions, but I certainly would tell folks that they should go through their bank. The banks are ready for this. They've been ramping up, and even if the process was a little cumbersome at the beginning, if you're a person that took the first draw, I can promise you that lessons were learned, and that this process now, I would be shocked if it is as cumbersome as it was. We really had to build a plane while it was flying last April, and I know for some there was consternation, but as Carlos says, it's free money.
Absolutely.
Free money to fill out a form. So
let me say this. I think, to the people watching, I think, it's important, obviously reach out to your local bank, reach out to your local chamber of commerce, especially if you're a member. But you can also feel free to reach out to the office. On the screen is our email, probably the easiest way, because, what we would do is we would pass your information directly on to Michael, and, allow the professionals to follow up with you. So if you can email us, that'd be ideal. But you can contact us any of these other ways. The other thing is there's a date looming. Isn't there a deadline for the program, I believe?
There is. And that's March 31st. So,
okay.
I really would beseech everybody to take advantage of this.
All right. So we have about 7 weeks, folks. Let's get focused on it. Now, I offer, obviously, this is, you guys can jump in anytime you want, but, as we sort of begin to wrap up, Carlos, you're on the front lines, Mike, you're on the front lines, but Carlos, what do you see over the next couple of months? How do you see this sort of, playing out? And, no one has a crystal ball, right? This is throwing us for quite a loop over the past year, but, maybe not really a prediction, but maybe how do you think you can best serve your members, and what are your plans for 2021?
Yeah, let me start by saying and reminding folks, if you don't have a bank, reach out to the Assemblyman's office. Michael's making a very generous offer to put you together with a bank that's going to get you the application, because that was part of the phase one. It became problematic because some businesses just don't have a banking relationship. I'm pretty optimistic.
Which, on that point, Carlos, I got to tell you, on that point, it's amazing. Like, I know when we say that, like, there is a whole swath of people say, well, of course you have a banking relationship. But no, if you don't have a banking relationship, don't worry about whether you did or didn't do anything wrong. Don't worry about, this is a safe zone, okay? If you send us your information, we will put you in contact with people that can help you. This is not an attempt. This is no gotcha zone here, okay? So, make sure you reach out. But I'm sorry, Carlos, I cut you.
No, that's a good point. we're optimistic as a chamber. We do some informal polling, and there's a lot of pent up. People want to shop, people want to do business, and we've been stuck in the cabin for so long that I think when the summer comes along or the spring comes along and more people are getting vaccinated, I think there's a desire to spend the money everybody's been saving. So I think there's gonna, businesses are gonna boom the latter part of 21. Buy local is what I'll say. Don't, if you can, the gentleman or lady down the street that have a business and working hard, don't be tempted to go to Amazon. Buy the artisan food. New Jersey's so diverse. You could get food from any culture here in Jersey. It's one of the reasons I love New Jersey. But go out and splurge. Buy local, even if it's $1 or $2 more.
Well, I'll tell you, it's interesting because the sales tax numbers have been fairly strong, but I am amazed at the resilience of New Jerseyans, right? And not just we're talking in particular about businesses, but I think the outdoor dining element that people introduced should never go away. Like there are places that I didn't even realize some of these restaurants had backyards, to enjoy, and there are now places delivering, or using one of the apps to get food to their customers that before it was only a dine-in experience. So I'm hoping that some of the adjustments that have been made to survive will actually increase the bottom line as we get into the new normal. And Mike, how about you? What do you see on the horizon?
I think we're hopeful. It's all going to come down to the science and the vaccine and the ability to get it out. But I definitely believe, as Carlos said, we're sitting today as we tape, in a winter wonderland, and people want to get outside. They want to enjoy time, and they want to eat and drink and be merry and be together. And, I think some of the things that we took for granted, like watching the Jet game or the Giant game or the Yankee game with your buddies at a bar and eating some wings, I think there's a lot of people that want to do that and just enjoy the simple pleasures of being in a normal group setting and enjoying. So, I think everybody looks forward to it.
Yeah, look, I think you guys are both right. I think it's, you have to be optimistic, right? You just have to be. You can't focus on the negative. Everyone recognizes it's been a long year, and there's no one watching this who didn't suffer some sort of loss, right? But the reality is that the vaccines are starting to come. Hopefully, President Biden's new initiatives will get more vaccines, because the more vaccines we get in Hudson County, they're going out. I just saw a report that this week, over 96% of the available vaccines were distributed, right? Which is, it's not 100%, but it's close, because a lot of people missed their appointment. But they can do 1,200 vaccines easily, right? If they have them, right? You need that product. But I do think that people are itching to get out. I would just, I also think we're going to have a new norm, right? And we're all going to adjust in our own ways because we have our own comfort levels. I mean, I think when I'm on the path, I'll probably be wearing a mask for the next several years. Yeah. And I didn't get a cold this winter, so far, knock on wood. So, I think there are some things that we'll take away from it. I want to just conclude, and if you guys have anything else to say, I'll give you guys 30 seconds, but I am just excited that you guys joined me. I think we gave out some good information. If you have questions, don't hesitate. Email us, you can, try to instant message me. It takes me a little bit longer to find that on my phone, but we're here to help. And thank you guys. I don't know if you have any concluding words, but I really appreciate you taking the time tonight.
Yeah, thank you, Assemblyman. Go ahead, Mike.
Oh, please.
Yeah, just buy local. And if you need to reach me, reach out to the Assemblyman's office. And, thanks for doing this for your constituents.
And thank you again, Assemblyman. Your constituents are very lucky to have you.
Thanks, guys. Take care, everyone.
Take care.